All right, hey, it's Scott L. Miller. This is Sheepguarding Llama. It is April 19th, 2020, and today's Sunday, so decently relaxing day today, just around the house. I needed to add, let's see, on Friday, so the 17th, we got the door onto the master bath. So now we actually can close the door and like use it as like a bathroom, but we don't have a working shower yet. And then yesterday, and I think I mentioned this, we got the waterproofing done. More work done today, mostly in demolition of the like sink area. So that's going to be going in really soon. So just lots going on. That's continuing to move forward at a good clip. Very, very busy in there. I really do very little. I just do the heavy lifting, like literally the heavy lifting. And Paul and Dominica do all the like actual construction work and stuff. Let's see. We watched Smokey and the Bandit today. I did a little bit of work. We've been doing a lot of research because we're trying to figure out where we're going to live, and the insane levels of frustration with the corruption in the current U.S. government, using the Small Business Association to funnel small business taxes into large enterprises, has really done a lot to just push the anger up at how corrupt the U.S. government is. And just how little we want any of our business to be here. And so that's really upped the conversation of, looking at Nicaragua, looking at different locations. But because of the dog and stuff, it really looks like just practicality. The only thing that's going to make sense is Mexico, which is not necessarily my first pick. I mean, I love Mexico, but it's so close, and it just doesn't have like the mix of things that I tend to like. But it's a huge country with so much to offer that I'm excited about it. So I've been doing some research and looking at towns like Mazatlan and Tampico and Guanajuato, and just trying to figure out what could be a good town to investigate. Guanajuato really looks nice up in the mountains with the old colonial stuff. Puebla is pretty cool because it's so close to Mexico City, and it's on the main routes to things. And of course, it's close to Veracruz, which is nice. Vallarta might be interesting, and of course, that's close to Guadalajara, which is cool. But what about Oaxaca, and what about something in Chiapas? Like it's a huge country, right? With loads and loads of people and cities and towns and regions and mountains and ocean. It's just there's a lot to investigate. So I've been trying to do some research again, which we had done a while ago, but originally we had other factors tying us to like northern Baja, which probably, if we're free to look at other things, that's not where we're going to want to look, especially as places like Guanajuato are so much closer by car to here. So anyway, Tampico is definitely the really close thing. 14 hours, like that's an easy drive. Guanajuato is like 19 hours. So anyway, I did a bit of research on that. Watched some of my I've got lots of YouTube shows that I watch, like Tangerine Travels and some others that are in Mexico and have really good feedback there. Some web and branding work today. Hung out with the kids a little bit. Not too much. They're mostly doing their own thing. Chana is now able to do her own Minecraft mods, which is going to make things a lot easier for me because she wants to do that all the time. She loves doing the mods on The Sims and Minecraft, and it can be quite an undertaking, but as we get it figured out and shift that stuff over to her, then it becomes more fun for her because she can just spend as much time as she wants getting those whenever she feels like it. Garrett got Undertale, which is one of Liesel's all-time favorite games, so she spent the entire day sequestered under the blankets with a FaceTime with him, walking him through all of Undertale all day. So that was the big thing there. Dominica made monkey bread this afternoon and homemade danishes this morning, getting a little bit baking heavy from all of that. And other than that, we sat outside some. This morning it was raining, and by this afternoon it was hot and muggy. Sun came out and eventually cooled down. It was pretty nice. And then we watched a bit of Parks and Rec, which I finally got Dominica in. So she's now in like the third or fourth season and really into it. So it's a great show. So that's been good. I made it to, so big accomplishment for me, and I can't remember which things I mentioned because I lost that video. But I made it to the Duolingo Diamond League today, this evening, which was a pretty big accomplishment. You have to be in the top 10 of your league 10 weeks. It doesn't have to be exactly 10 weeks in a row, but if you have a week where you're not in the top 10, you have to be in like the top 30 to hold your spot without losing ground, which I don't think I've ever lost ground, but I have had weeks where I've stayed steady. So it's taken me about 12 to 13 weeks, I want to say, to work my way from bronze, where I started paying attention and figured out like what this thing was, up to the Diamond League. I don't know any person in my whole range of people that I know from Duolingo who've ever made it to the Diamond League, and I only know one person who ever made it to the Obsidian League, and only one other person that ever made it to the Pearl League. So that's a lot. So having gotten to Diamond is a really big deal for me. Makes me feel very accomplished. I'm on about 76 days of consecutive Duolingo and about 72 of drops. So I'm very happy that I'm just sticking to that and keeping up. I am trying to do well in the Diamond League this week, and already in the first couple hours, I'm getting my butt kicked like crazy. I can't believe how much people are doing it already in the first few hours of the first day. Like it's intense. So that's pretty cool. I'm definitely learning a lot more Spanish. I can tell, like when I read it, I go through lessons like so fast. It's so easy. And learning that much Spanish is making French and Italian pretty easy. So I fly through that. And I do a bunch of things, right? I mix it up because I get a little bit bored just doing Spanish. So I'll throw in some Romanian. I'll throw in some, once in a while, Portuguese, a little bit of Dutch, Latin, and even started doing just Arabic so I can read it. I've done Greek in the past. I need to get back to that. And I do Catalan, but Catalan does not have any learn Catalan from English. There's only learn Catalan from Spanish. So once in a while I do that, which actually is really good for reinforcing Spanish because you have to read Catalan, which is Provence, right? So Provençal. So it's the same as southern France, but really seems more like Italian than anything. But reading that and translating it into Spanish, very, very hard, which actually makes me think I should do some of those like the Spanish-Italian or Italian-Spanish crossovers, do some stuff that way, because I know a lot more Italian. Like I'm really struggling with Catalan because I'm trying to learn it only from Spanish. But if I do Italian and Spanish, which I know both, then it'll be reinforcing and give me another way to view that. Anyway, so that's been good. I'm happy with that. And trying to get this out before I go to bed here on Sunday night. And wow, that was it for the weekend. Mostly got to relax. Not too bad. We are still under quarantine, or lockdown, and will be for the foreseeable future. We've got Luciana's birthday coming up this week. She's going to be 9 years old, which she and I just spent a good 30 to 45 minutes sitting in the hallway talking to each other, kind of about what it was like when I was 9. Talked about going to summer camp a bit because she doesn't even know what summer camp is. Like that's not a thing anymore. No one talks about that. So that was kind of a novel idea to even discuss. And it's funny looking back, like what did I like about camp when I was 9? The number one thing, this is funny. So the big things, I went to Circle C camp when I was 9, 10, 11, and 12. Those are 4 years. First year, I kind of liked it. And the thing that I really loved was this puppet show that they did. And looking back, they probably only did it once or twice the whole time I was there when I was 9. And I was really excited to go back when I was 10 just for the puppet shows. The only thing that I really liked about camp. And it's weird now looking back, like why did I like a puppet show that much? I don't know, but I still remember how much it stands out so much, how much I loved it. Back when I was 10, and in my memory, it's like, yeah, we did puppet shows, like it was the thing. I never saw one when I was 10 because I had my terrible accident like on the second day. So I missed that whole year, so I never saw one. And I know the last 2 years that I went back that I was so looking forward to the puppet shows, they never did them. Sometime during that, between, whether it was at my injury or just after, they eliminated the puppet shows, the one thing that I wanted to go for. And so my memory of camp is how much I loved these puppet shows. And the reality is, at most, I only ever saw them twice. And it's possible I only ever saw it once. I have quite a bit of memory from that one, what was probably no more than a 15-minute puppet show. I guess it might have been like 20 or 30, but probably 10 to 15 minutes. It was really well done. I talked to my parents about it. I raved about it for forever. I'm talking about it now, 35 years later, how great this puppet show was at a summer camp. And it turns out I went 4 years in the hopes of seeing it and saw it like one, maybe two times. How weird is that? Like, it's seriously weird. Um, just a bizarre memory to have. And just saying the puppet show there, I can perfectly remember the texture of the seats in the chapel where they did the puppet show, where we would sit, because we had to go to the chapel every night of camp. It was awful. I actually really hated camp, which is weird. Like, but there was like these little tiny bits that I liked, seeing other people just doing something different. I liked it was just it was a big change of pace, and I liked like the crafts. I loved the free time to go to like the ice cream and stuff. Sometime I'm going to do a video just on camp, but I had these like isolated bits of camp that I really liked, with a whole bunch of camp that I hated. I hated the swimming, I hated the horses, I hated the showers, I hated the cabins, I hated the beds, I hated the whole structure of the thing, the food, all of that. And the chapel was painful. But yeah, so that was camp. So we were talking about that stuff, and talking about computers and stuff when I was 9, because she's right at the age where I was first using the Apple Macintosh, the very first Apple Macintosh, and would, at the age she's becoming, just when I first started using DOS and BASIC on the original IBM PC, 5150. So very important years. But in general, ages 8 and 9 are still very fuzzy for me, and for the most part those aren't ages that I remember, which is hard to believe, right? Looking at Luciana and thinking about the age that she is and being like, boy, these are ages that she'll have like really spotty memories of, but probably won't have a cohesive memory of this age, is kind of amazing. But yeah. So, Chana, if you're watching this when you're older, looking forward to being 9, you're very excited about your upcoming birthday, and you know that you're not going to be able to celebrate it and have a party probably until July, which you're very sad about, but you're looking forward to your cake. And mostly, Chana spends her day hanging out with Clara and playing Minecraft or Roblox. Those are the big things. And she and Liesel spend most of their days in separate rooms because they get on each other's nerves. So that is the news from Carrollton, and I'll see everybody tomorrow.